I am WALDY CARBONELL. Back here in the Philippines, I am a practicing journalist. Veteran because I have been practicing for the past many years. I think it's about 4 decades, 7 years, 2 months and 3 weeks, to be a little bit exact. Why am I doing this? Am I aware that the American law and the American people are not necessarily relevant to the Philippine scene or what is obtaining here in the Philippines? Well, I want to assure you that I understand this, that the American law is not applicable in the Philippines and that the Americans are not in any way allowed to meddle in our Philippine laws. But you, the American government and the American public can well play a role here. Why? Because America is a major destination of our people and our government officials. And this calls to mind the Magnitsky Law. I have researched on the Magnitsky Law. The Magnitsky Law was predicated on the Sergei Magnitsky. He was an accountant in Russia who uncovered the anomaly and the corruption involving high Russian officials involved in the stealing of $200 million in American dollars, equivalent to Russian currency. Anyway, instead of the government officials of Russia being incarcerated, it was the blower, the messenger, who was nabbed and incarcerated for 1 year. He was tortured inside the Russian jails under detention, tortured and made to suffer, and suffer again for many months until at the end of 1 year or thereabouts, he died of many ailments caused by these beatings and many kinds of penalties from the hands of Russian interests. It was called the Russian Vadim Magnitsky Law, which was approved in America bipartisanly by Republican and Democrat parties under the regime of the ex-president Barack Obama. And it was renewed again or given due course during the term of your current president, President Donald Trump. What is the effect of Magnitsky Law? I remember that when a former chief of the Philippine National Police, who was known to be notorious in his role for the pursuit of the anti-drug campaign of Mr. Duterte, our current tyrant and dictator in the Philippines, he was the one who was presiding over the deaths of about 30,000 Filipinos who were killed extrajudicially. What do I mean by that? They were killed without being arrested, without being prosecuted, without being defended, and without being arraigned or adjudged as guilty. Their penalty was death. And what was the consequence? Somebody, or the own volition of some good-hearted Americans, the Magnitsky Law was invoked in revoking his U.S. visa because this rich and corrupt ex-PNP or Philippine National Police official was so corrupt that he ran as a fair-haired boy. I'm sorry, that's a misnomer because he has no hair. He's bald-headed as Terry Savalas of Kojak. But the difference between these two, Kojak was fighting against evil men. This Philippine National Police General was the personification of evil himself and was voted under a mysterious Smartmatic system as one of the 7-hour glitch senators. The others, like Bong Revilla, the senators, all won under mysterious circumstances, including Senator Cynthia Villar, who won almost 101% of all votes in the Philippines during the 2019 elections. Why am I now here talking to you? It is because I was asked after some quarters in the Senate Committee on the Foreign Relations received my report on the names of the 70 congressmen who voted against the institutionalization of press freedom in the Philippines by voting down the renewal of franchise of ABS-CBN, a TV network. ABS-CBN is not just a TV network. It is a media institution that also publishes magazines and other medium, radio, as well as the internet. Anyway, it was closed down in spite of the fact that they have not violated any law in the Philippines. It was closed down whimsically, capriciously, under the dictate of tyrant dictator Rodrigo Duterte, who has fashioned himself as the President of the Republic of the Philippines. What a shame. I am saying this because I am called upon now to deliver through this Facebook account audio-visually that I am real, that I am the author of that report that I've sent to the committee, and I want to assure you that I have held the Department of State in a high esteem because during martial law, after I was incarcerated by that dictator, Ferdinand Marcos, one of those merciless leaders this country ever had, the name Ferdinand Idrolin Marcos. I was incarcerated by him, but only for a short while because I outsmarted the dim-witted generals under him. And when I was freed, because of my being the favorite speech writer of some idiotic and low IQ generals, I was given a free pass to get out of the jail against the consternation of my fellow inmates, my fellow activists. And I was given, when I needed to go to the States because I had a sister who was gravely ill in New York City, I wanted to be with her. She was an OFW in New York, and I wanted to be with her, but I could not get out of the country because I was a former detainee of Marcos. The Philippines then was a garrison state, as it is a garrison state now. So I was able to go to America because I was given a Fulbright scholarship or Fulbright grant by the United States Embassy in Manila, and I was able to go to the States. I was given a special visa to go there, and I was brought to the Johns Hopkins University under the auspices of the Johns Hopkins University and traveled to about 22 states of America. And I could always take this as part now of the biography of WALDY CARBONELL. Why am I doing this? Because it is the right thing to do. What is the right thing to do is to let the Americans know that it's time that you, the American people, pay your taxes and you let your government give money to Duterte and his military. The military uses its might, especially the Philippine National Police, against the Filipino people and not against external forces or external enemies. Anyway, there is now a prevailing anti-terror law, and we would want to invoke the Magnitsky law also against those who are propagating this. Who are the authors? One, the Senate President, his name, which I have already emailed to the Committee on Foreign Affairs of the U.S. Senate. His name, Vicente Soto, Senate President of this idiotic, low IQ Senate of the Philippines right now. Who was the proponent? Ex-Philippine National Police Panfilo, now Senator Panfilo Lacson, who was himself involved in extrajudicial killing under the Curatong Baleling scandal. You may Google this, the name Panfilo Lacson, the scandal, Curatong Huratong Baleleng. Anyway, you can always find it in my email, and if some of you would need more copies after this particular program, I will be emailing you again. I will be invoking the Magnitsky Law against those 70 idiotic, traitorous congressmen who voted against the renewal of the franchise of the media institutions called ABS-CBN. What a shame. It is a shameful, sad, unfortunate, tragic page in Philippine history when no less than our legislators, all 70 of them, voted en masse against the renewal of the franchise of ABS-CBN. I have forwarded the names, and the names were there, and some of them were my friends, and they are friends no more because my friendship with them ends when my loyalty to this country begins. I want to report to you, the American people, also that you can egg your government not to back up or not to baby our government, because our government right now is a sham. We do not have anymore the separation of the three branches of government for the sake of check and balances. What are the three branches of government in the Philippines? You are all aware of that because our laws, our government, our structure have been patterned after America. Even the American jurisprudence have been adopted by the Philippine government, and even the structure, the democratic character of the American government had been adopted also by those presidents ahead of this current tyrant, Rodrigo Duterte. Now, the separation of state, my dear senators of America, your honors, is a sham. It is a myth. It is fiction. It is fictive. And the government is supposed to have the legislative branch, executive branch, and the judiciary. The judiciary being the Supreme Court and judges all over the country. The executive is the president, governors and mayors all over the country, and the other branch of government, legislative, the lawmakers, lawmaking body like Congress and Senate. But now, they are all under one baton of this tyrant dictator, the terrorist in his reign of terror, Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Why can I still say this if there is no freedom? Well, my life, according to some of them, is already likened to a media man walking dead. I do not scare easily. I am not proud of it, but it is the truth. They do not scare me easily because if they kill me, they have only killed the body, not the spirit. It is in this score that I am now reporting to you audiovisually what I have forwarded to you via email. I will be continuously reporting to you in order to use the Magnitsky Law in denying these culprits, these traitors, their American visas, and if they have deposited some monetary interest in America, to subject them to freezing. And if there are properties bought there with the people's money, be assured that they came from Corrupt Practices Act as government officials, then please invoke the Magnitsky Law. We will be reporting to you the names of these culprits, including judges, including military officials, about their properties in America, which we will be moving for confiscation. Then what you can do perhaps is confiscate them, have it auctioned, and then send back the money to the COVID victims or other victims of the human rights violations which are growing by the thousands every month. It is in this score then that I will address to you right now that all those emails and other communications, manifestations of issues that come from me are authentic and that I swear under oath, and if you will want me to have it notarized and swear under oath, I will do so. And thank you for one of the senators inviting me to appear to the American committee one of these days when there is no more COVID threat, and whether I will be able to outrace the slings and arrows of this outrageous regime, this reign of terror of Mr. Duterte. I promise that I will be there, and I will swear under oath that the aids of America are being used against the Filipino people. The bullets that they buy with the American taxpayers' money are used against Filipino people. Those that have died, 30,000 of them, under the mere suspicion or baseless label of being drug personalities, it is enough for them to be dealt with and sentenced to death penalty. And the bullets that they use are American bullets, both from American funds, from the aids that America extend to our military, extend to the Philippine National Police in its aid of modernizing their weapons, not against the Chinese invaders who are invading our country right now with the help of Mr. Duterte, not against all other enemies or terrorists, but against the homegrown Filipino who do not like or who have adopted sometimes the patriotic duty of criticizing the immorality and the crimes of Rodrigo Duterte, the Filipino tyrant, the Filipino traitor, and the Filipino leader who cursed not only the ambassador of America to the Philippines, who is the representative of the American government and American president, but even the President Obama himself. Sadly, Mr. President Donald Trump is in cahoots or is in sympathy with the Philippine tyrant dictator Rodrigo Duterte. For whatever reason, this escapes me, but it is my duty as a media practitioner, as a newspaperman, to inform the honorable members of the Senate, especially the Senate, American Senate on Foreign Affairs, that this is so, that Duterte has been bragging of his special relations with his idol, President Donald Trump of the United States of America. If you are the land of the free, home of the brave, do not let your country be the sanctuary of tyrants and dictators. I am WALDY CARBONELL. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar simply means God is great.